All right, I am here. Let's go. We are playing some Aurelia the War Leader today. Legion Loyalist on the stack, coming in for our opponent. That is Champ piloting Adriana, Captain of the Guard. They are very excited about it. It's essentially like Goblins and Adriana, and it can do some damage. Oh yeah, it's got haste. He's going to go on the swinging into the Maelstrom Wanderer. Seems like a good plan to me. We're going to go for this Mistveil Plains, I think. Since it does come in tap, we'll pass like that. Give me one moment to get the chat brought up here. Birds of Paradise for opponent. Greetings, King Ginger. Greetings, the Austin. Hanging in there. Actually, I'm feeling pretty good. I just finished a stream with Zebex, and the ending was quite intense. I almost died to a bunch of dragons, but they decided to kill another player instead. And then I cast Aurelia, put Tatsumasa Dragon's Fang, Hammer of Nazan, and gave it Faith Shield to give it pro red and swing past a bunch of dragons to remove the dragon player from the game. It was quite exciting. So I'm feeling pretty good. Sweet, a land. Lands are good. Don't really want to discard Lyra because like Lyra is one that we can reasonably hardcast. I want to save this for like, the 8 and 9 drops. Anything to do on 2? Not really. So we'll crack the Arid Mesa, get ourselves a Sacred Foundry tapped. And we'll pass like that. TJ, yes, we are live. I wasn't talking for a moment. I was sending out the link to everyone. It always takes me a little while to do that. Haven't figured out a good way to do that yet, but someday we'll figure it out. Adriana is indeed the talk of the town. Love this card. It melts life totals. And it's got really cool art. And that's about all you need out of a card. Melting life totals and cool art. Debating on building Gerard or Wyleth as your commander. Any advice for Boros commanders? Oh, let me take a sip of water before that one. Once you get me going, I'll never stop. Okie dokie. So, Gerard versus Wyleth. Let me double check, make sure Wyleth is the one I'm thinking of. That's the card draw one. Wyleth, MTG. Perfect. Yes, that's the card draw one. Double checking. Lots of new cards, and it's hard to remember all their names. So Wyleth is really cool. It will be similar to Adriana. Not Adriana. Oh my god. Similar to Akiri Fearless Voyager, I think. But I think, given the choice between the two, I think I would still go for Akiri personally, because my motto is I don't need to draw all the cards. I just need to draw like 1 or 2 at a time, and I'm completely fine with that. But I like the utility that Akiri brings because you can load up on board wipes and protect your stuff. That's a pretty relevant thing. So, given the choice between Wyleth and Akiri, I'm probably still on Team Akiri, but I think Wyleth is going to be excellent in the 99. But you could just as easily run your own Wyleth build, especially if you're wanting to run like Aura Voltron, which, some people are interested in. And is probably way cheaper than Equipment Voltron because the good equipment are expensive. Auras generally aren't. There's only a couple I can think of that are really fetching high price tags. So, that's the thing to think about. But the choice between Wyleth and Gerard is a bit different. So, in general, Gerard doesn't tend to be super combat heavy. It lends itself more to value, ETBs, and combo. So, in that sense, they're like very different kind of decks. Gerard is a deck where you get to play things like Jokal Hops and Razia's Purification, and they're actually pretty good. Because you sack all your stuff and then you get it all back and make a bunch of mana, and you don't need the lands. Like if you have Dockside Extortionist and Priest of Urbrask, you don't need lands in the same way. Plus you can get like Solemn Simulacrum back. So Gerard is a different kind of deck. It tends to be more combo-y than anything. So if you're looking for just like aggro, Wylith is the better choice of the two. That's a 2-mana Rift from opponent. They're going to bounce a Goblin King. There's an austere command. This hand is awkward. This hand is awkward. I guess we just play the mountain and play the Burnished Heart. Hope it doesn't get shot. Always my favorite plan. Hope the Burnished Heart doesn't get shot. Seem to have caught a lot of removal. Probably be helpful against the Adriana. Oh, Zazira's at the table. Gross. Kithron playing a Xeris deck. Yeah, that wheels, it draws. Means we also want to get stuff out of our hand, too, because they will wheel. Yeah, that'll be a thing that happens. Our final opponent, by the way, is Banana piloting Maelstrom Wanderer, another commander that I don't particularly have any love for. All the teamer today. Isaac happy to be distracted from the election. So I'll talk about it real briefly and then probably not talk about it again the rest of the stream because, yeah. But my girlfriend's been freaking out about like watching all the election stuff like live as it happens. Oh, please don't steal the Burnished Heart. Please don't steal the Burnished Heart. Didn't steal the Burnished Heart. All right. We get to play Magic. Anyway, so girlfriend's been freaking out about the election, just watching all the stuff and like getting herself pretty worked up. And it's like, it's out of your control. You got to let it go. Like we did our part. We voted. We told as many other people as we could to vote and you leave it at that. That's all you can do. So, anything to distract yourself. I've been checking in periodically, but, I think I'm staying a little bit more sane than most people by not checking it compulsively. So, I don't know. Maybe there's some advice in there somewhere. Do what works for you. Try not to get yourself stressed out about things you can't control. Moving on from that. TJ saying mono white got a ton of help because of the command zone. Yeah, I do feel that a little bit. So like, yeah, you know who got the help more than anything? Red and Boros. I think those are the real winners of Commander Legends. The red cards look fantastic. There's so many that I want to use for like different things. I'm really excited about. I didn't talk about it in the video, but did the review the other day. What's her name? Alina, I think it is. The red one that taps and gives you a bunch of mana equal to your power is very exciting to me. Oh, we didn't hit our land drop. What do you guys think? Can we Faithless Looting into a land and then hit our land to crack the Burnished Heart? Should we? Yeah, let's try it. Let us try it. I think we can do it. We got 37 lands. Don't screw us, Magic Online. Don't you screw us. Aha, land. Yeah, discard Chancellor of the Annex. I don't really want to discard Lyra, but it's the easiest thing to bring back of all the other things in our hands, so I guess we're doing that. There's that land. I'm just going to crack now so I don't forget, and whatever. When you're streaming, you are multitasking, so this is an easy thing to mess up. We have a couple red sources. Probably got all the red we need. We'll go double plains. Work toward Ameria. So, talk about this card real quick, and then I'll get back to the other stuff. Tomer suggested this card on Twitter the other day. Maybe it was about 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know, man. That drawback looks nasty. It's 3 mana, 1/3. It says tap it, Return 3 target cards from an opponent's graveyard to their hand. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So we give an opponent 3 cards back, we can get one of these lovely angels from our graveyard into play. I'm like, oh, I don't know about that drawback, but you know where I think this will be good? The angel deck. So hopefully Kith doesn't wheel us into oblivion right here, because I really want to try this thing. I'm excited about it. And yeah. Here comes a Maelstrom Wanderer, and it's going to cascade twice into a Bloodbraid Elf, which is going to cascade more. Oi. Ooh, into a Heartbeat of Spring. That's what I'm talking about. Into a Duskwatch Recruiter. I'm going to wait till after he declares attacks, and then I'll inform Kithron that I'm holding a board wipe. Kith said he's looking for his Rolling Vortex in a mountain. Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are cards. Big old attacks. Who's getting it? We're getting some. Splitting it up. But anyway, yeah. I think Red and Boros were the big winners in Commander Legends. And yes, I think the 5 or 6 years of the Command Zone saying that Boros sucks and is bad really helped a lot in this set. I think that was a pretty big deal. They have a large following, and I think they've also got the ear of people at Wizards of the Coast. And I'm not sure that I have exactly that same power. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I don't. So, them kind of being consistent in that message for a long time is really cool right now, because there's a lot of cool Boros stuff coming out. No big deal. Opponent's going to cast themselves a burgeoning, and a double vision. Yep. Double up them spells. Why not? Even at oh no, that one doesn't make mana yet. So I'm thinking about when will they be able to recast Wanderer? Because of Gaia's Cradle, if they don't have creatures, they probably can't cast it this turn. They'd have to really jump through some hoops. Sword of the Animist onto the Legion Loyalist. Seems good. Ian has switched from Jorkadine to Zerda to Akiri. Yeah, Akiri's pretty cool. Initially, I had underestimated how effective Akiri would be as a Voltron commander, but turns out it's pretty good, especially if you've got swords of X and Y. The protection from colors is a pretty big deal, and you can pressure people and get someone to commander lethal in turn 6 fairly consistently. Ooh. Grenzo exiled some stuff. There's a Kiki, and there's a Rhystic Study. I'm sure they're going to love that. Boros deck with a Rhystic Study? Sign me up. In comes the Rhystic Study. Yeah, Grenzo's pretty cool. Pretty cool. There's that one new guy that's half a Grenzo and is legendary. That's kind of cool with partner. It's not exactly Grenzo. It doesn't give you all the same stuff, but definitely similar. Got a similar vibe to it. Kirschme says, Boros ramp is an archetype I've been trying to materialize. Never came as much to fruition as I like. Look at the framework of this deck. If you look at this deck list, it's like 15 pieces of ramp. It's got Burnish Chart. It's got Solemn Simulacrum. You can add a core Cartographer in there. Just go for all that stuff. All the things that like some of the big channels say are too slow and are bad now, run all of those because they're actually still pretty good. And then if you run like 5 to 6 board wipes, so you ramp through the early mid parts of the game, kind of like we're doing, we're going to drop down this Blasphemous Act and, crush our opponent's boards right here. Now you've got Boros ramp. And, hey, we've got double mana. That's cool, too. I'm going to pay for the Rhystic Study with this one because I'm rude like that. Champ's got a Goblin Bombardment, and he's going to start pinging stuff down. Seems fair. So yeah, all the all the rhetoric about like all of your mana ramp has to be 2 mana. Not if you run a couple board wipes. You do that, and now our super slow Burnished Heart play is able to get some legs to it. So if you want to use bigger, slower ramp, you just run some board wipes, and you don't have to do that much early on. You don't have to commit a lot, and now you blow the board up and then start doing your thing, and that's what we're going to do right here. Play this Pulse Mage Advocate, one that I'm super excited about. No, the Rhystic Study trigger, we'll let him have that one. I haven't done the math to figure out exactly what we're doing. We'll get a Sunforger. Oh no, we're not going to be able to leave up Sunforger mana because we pay for the Rhystic Study. Ah, no. Got us. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. Disappointing. Maybe they won't notice. Let's go about it that way. Let's equip the Feast and Famine and hope that they don't realize that we don't have the mana to use it. And when I say Feast and Famine, I mean Sunforger. The other awesome equipment. Pass like that. Austin says he may go with Gerard Eggs. Yeah, Gerard Eggs is a pretty powerful deck. Mine isn't exactly Eggs. It's more of like a Revelar Kiki Jiki kind of thing. I haven't seen enough of either. Like, I understand what mine does. I don't know how the Eggs version differs from mine. I think it's a little bit lighter mana cost-wise, but I don't know how the consistency is. I know that, like, it's pretty hard to get loyal retainers. That's not like... Sometimes you just have it. Other times you have to dig through 70 cards of your library to find it. And, it's not a picnic to do that. So, even with both recruiters, sometimes you just, like, don't get it when you need it or things happen. So I like having the Kiki plan as a backup. I like having the Revelark plan as a backup. And this may actually go into that deck as well, because just having a way to pull like Revelark or Karmic Guide out of the graveyard can start a whole daisy chain of stuff that, probably leads to a win in that deck, and you don't care about the 3 cards you just gave them. Yeah, we got lucky that Burnished Heart survived. Be in a bad spot if it didn't. One moment, I lost my spot in the chat. You have the Voltron bug in Abs. You have the Voltron bug in Abzan with the Nightmare Insect. I don't even know which card that is. Is that Nethroy? Eric says blue and black got a ton of great tools for their 99. Honestly, I haven't even looked at the other three colors that much. I have a pretty good understanding of what's in red and white now, so I should probably start to branch out and check the other colors. Obviously, I saw Opposition Agent. I think there was a blue Hate Bear that showed up there somewhere too. Something like that people made us think about. But I'm going to have to take a deeper dive into those cards and actually see what's going on there. You pulled a foil Fire and Ice and full art Light and Shadow. That is awesome. Getting those swords. I don't have swords that are that pretty. I have the basic version of all the swords. Zero's into play. Arithmetic Study trigger. Yep. What up, Ryan? Seven Deadly. Yeah, we're going to find out about this Pulse Mage Advocate. It seems like a real nasty trade-off. We could just run Feldon, and that's one that I'm thinking about adding into the deck, because if you like Feldon, a Karmic Guide, it's a pretty good time. But Feldon does require mana. This deck is mana hungry. This thing, after you cast it, doesn't require any mana, and Aurelia untaps it, so you could potentially get 2 creatures in a turn. That's a lot of upside. There's a lot of upside. Not saying you want to use it everywhere. I wouldn't want to use this in a really competitive setting, but we'll see. We'll see. Corvath's Fury. I'm sure I'm not going to like this. Double Vision. Should say double vision. There we go. Says Maelstrom Wanderer always hits Bloodbraid Elf on the first cast. I haven't seen it come up that often, but it is pretty lucky. Luckily, we got rid of all that with the Blasphemous Act. Tuween says that'd be 15 with a rolling Vortex in play. Yeah. Is it roiling or rolling? Roiling. One of the two. Ultimate Golo's Punishment, and there's a whole bunch of snakes. Well then. That hand is not great. 2 lands and a Smothering Tithe. Not exactly where we wanted to be. We'll definitely want to play the Emeria. We're on 5 planes. We're not too far away, but we still need more stuff in our graveyard. Actually, we probably have more stuff, right? No, here's the second one. We're going to lose both of those. Ooh, not good. I don't think we have a way to pull that Emeria out. I don't know that Crucible of Worlds is in this deck at the moment, even though it should be, because this does happen once in a while. We're also down 2 board wipes. I think there are 5. Those are not board wipes. Gisela does stop the snake damage, though. That's relevant. Hazard's Monument, I'm also trying out. Might be a little too awkward, honestly. Because the creatures aren't red. Well, most of the creatures aren't red. Aurelia, Gisela are red. And I think Razia, and that's probably about it. That is a whole lot of snakes. Double check this deck list. I doubt it has a Sulphurous Blast. We have its Fairy's Protection that can save us for a turn. Comeuppance is not in the deck. We'll want to be real careful about that. Boros Charm still in the deck, so it's a very limited Sunforger package in this deck because I wanted to try to get as many Angels as I possibly could into the deck. So, yeah, that's all thing. Paradise Mantle. Oh, sorry, I haven't updated the deck list to the in the description for this yet. I'll try to do that right now. There's a Soul Ring for opponent. Dockside Extortionist. Okay, the deck list should be updated. If you want to take a look at the deck list, it's not exactly what I'm running today. I haven't updated with all the changes I made today because I haven't updated the list in probably 6 months or something like that. But just from the sake of like looking at the ramp and the removal, that will allow you to play a Boros ramp deck. So running 5 to 6 board wipes with a bunch of wheels, bunch of draw, and like 15 pieces of ramp, especially multi ramp, Burnished Heart. Feast and Famine, Smothering Tithe, all that sort of stuff. That's an Achroma. Achroma's pretty cool. So, like, we need to get Gisela so we don't die to snakes. Everyone else will probably die to snakes if we do that. It's usually what happens. Gisela might be worth doing the Pulse Mage Advocate thing. Achroma's kind of cool also. We should get Aurelia because then we can do it twice, and that's pretty exciting. Let's start by getting our Mountain into play. Burgeoning will trigger. Give me a second. I'll get caught up on chat here in a moment. Oh, God, we got to do stuff. All right, this will make Aurelia cheaper, so we should cast it first. It would take 3 to get that, so if we went like 1, 2, 3, then Aurelia would cost the rest of it. It's not great. It's not great. Well, we'd get Aurelia, exactly. And then I guess we go on the Pulse Mage plan. I guess that's what we're doing. Hope we don't mess this up. Use a colorless. Oh, we have double mana. Oh, we're so good. Yeah. Never mind. I was getting nervous about the mana consumption there, but double mana should make this very beautiful. Play a Hazardous Monument. Rhystic Study will trigger. Champ can draw. Cast Aurelia. This stuff will trigger. Rhystic Study, Hazardous Monument. Not paying. Feed them all the cards. Maybe one of them's a board wipe. We get to loot. Excited to try out this Hazardous Monument. Discard. Yes. Discard Gisela. Sajiri's Shelter is reasonable. Have we already played a land? I forget. We have 8 mana left, which would be exactly enough for Achroma. That's kind of fun. Achroma, Gisela, Aurelia, that is a bit of damage. I think that's what we're doing. Oh, that's so many snakes, though. Do we have to, like... Do we need life... Well, that one's not going to have haste. Lifelink, yeah. Do we need Lyra? So if we went Lyra and we get 2 combats and we gain a bunch of life, then this puts counters on everything and our life total goes up so we don't just die to Snake Army. I like that plan. I like the sound of that. Okay. So let's go, and we can leave up the... We can leave up... Well, Sunforger is going to be a little awkward because of the double mana thing, but... Yep, guess we do it like that. Heuristic Study will trigger. I'm going to hold on to this Acroma for right now. We'll go no this time. That's into play. Gisela won't be able to attack. All right, we got to give opponents back some cards. What are we giving them? I feel the least threatened by Champ. There's Waves of Aggression in his graveyard. What could go wrong there? We'll give him 3 lands. We will bring back a Gisela. Then go to combat. Swing into Kithron. Aurelia trigger. Yeah, we'll use the Advocate once again. Give lands to the Maelstrom Wanderer opponent. What's the worst that could happen? Get Lyra into play. We hit +1/+1 counter on everything. We gain a little bit of life. Back to combat. Do it one more time. And that will complete our turn. All right, back to chat. Whew, that was a tense turn. Trying to figure all that out. Another counter on our stuff. Breaches is the name of that goblin. Talking about the new dagger. The Boros Reckoner dagger. Yeah, that thing looks kind of cool. Definitely going to use that in some burn decks, probably like Gisela. Really, whoever you want your burn commander to be. Did that Feather burn deck one time that was kind of interesting. It was a different take on Feather, which was exciting. Spiteful Sliver gets no love here. Doc also saying the new Mage Slayer equipment looks nice. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. That one's cool. Spiteful Slivers in 3 decks. Someone looked it up. That is really low. Solemn Simulacrum for opponent. Jaya Ballard. I've been using Jaya Ballard recently. I switched Ashling to Jaya Ballard and, only had to change 3 or 4 cards. And it's been pretty cool. It's a nice little casual deck. Casual in the sense of, like, no one gets to have creatures ever, but I don't know why when I go to casual, I immediately assume red commander that just burns everything away. William saying, with larger EDH channels, it feels like the emphasis has shifted to spot removal rather than board wipes. That is so unbelievably true. Yeah, they don't run nearly enough board wipes, and I think I get it. Like, board wipes don't solve every single problem anymore. There are, like, especially when you see, like, problematic enchantments in play, unless it's an austere command or hour rev, like, a normal creature board wipe doesn't fix everything, but it still fixes a lot of things. And I think it's not correct to not run enough of them. So, like, some people are trying to get away with, like, running 2 or 3 board wipes, which is just so low. And I get that, like, in a black deck, you can tutor for them, but that means that you can't also then tutor for your win condition. If you just have the board wipe in hand, because you run 5 or 6 of them, then you can use that tutor to go get your combo or your win or whatever other thing you need. And sure, there's absolutely a need to run, like, a lot of spot removal too for things that hit the board early, and I get that, but I think what they suggest a balance, like the mixture of spot removal to board wipes it's good for, like, turn 6 or turn 7 games, like really fast, high power games of Commander, but I don't think that's indicative of most of the format. So, if you told me I need to build, like, a high mid power or high power deck, I'm probably looking at, like, 4 to 6 board wipes, and I'm probably going to have about 12 to 15 total pieces of removal split between, like, spot removal. If I can get a little bit of it in creature form, that's a really nice thing to have. But, probably going to be, like, 5 or 6 instants that deal with creatures. If I'm in red-white, I'm going to have, like, Chaos Warp, Generous Gift, that hit everything, which are really nice. Having about 6 total pieces of artifact and enchantment removal is really powerful because there's any number of nasty artifacts and enchantments in everyone's deck that they're going to play. Like, you're going to see them. What just happened there, by the way? I got to go check the game log. I was talking while all that was going on. So there was a Rites of Flourishing targeting Solemn Simulacrum. But there was also Deflecting Swat. Oh, I see. Wow, that's rough. Okay, so Banana tried to target a Dockside Extortionist with Rite of Replication, and instead, Solemn Simulacrum got targeted, which I don't know if that's better or worse. We'll see. It's kind of nasty. Ante. Antediluvian has donated to the super chat. Thank you, Auntie. I appreciate it. You rock. I know you've been waiting a little while for that one. Sorry, trying to get through chat. Jeremy asks, do I have a favorite Sunforger package card besides Teferi's Protection? I like Comeuppance just because, like, people still don't know about it, and it still surprises them, and they still have to read it 4 times. It's just, I don't know. I like going for that one. I still like Sulphurous Blast. Like, I'm not running Sulphurous Blast right here because of the reduced Sunforger package, but that would clean out all these snakes, and yeah. That's kind of one of those ones that, like, a lot of people don't run either, and I'm just like, I can't not run it if I'm doing my full Sunforger package. Some ones that I want to run more, I want to start running Deflecting Palm just to, like, live the dream. I'm also been starting to think about, like, Silence and stuff like that, so we'll see. Wouldn't it be great if I could cast Austere Command for artifacts and enchantments right after the Blasphemous Act? Yeah, it would have been nice. Probably should have did that, but whoops. Steve says spot removal versus board wipes depends on the deck. Meta suggests having creatures out, so less incentive to have a lot of board wipes. Yeah, it depends on what you're doing. So, if you're playing 35 creatures in your deck, yeah, you probably drop a board wipe, but you still need to have something to deal with opponent's stuff too. That's a lot of snakes. I bet they're all coming our way. They are not. They're going to banana. Well, that's surprising. Totally thought we were about to get crushed by snakes. Maybe it's the army of giant angels that all have lifelink and will get bigger when they block stuff. Oh, also, those are all double damage too. So he's probably going to die right here. Banana said he wanted a quick game. I think he only had an hour to play. This will probably finish him off. He's going to block with all the Solemn Simulacrums. He's going to draw a million cards. And the Wayward Swordtooth. Yeah, so I mean, spot removal versus board wipes is meta dependent. It is deck dependent, but I still think, regardless of what you're doing, you still want at least 4. I wouldn't go below four board wipes on a given deck. And again, maybe that's me speaking from the style of play that I like. Yeah, down he goes. That's negative 28. He probably could have sent a little bit of extra damage. Oh my god, that's going to be probably so many. No, it's only 6 damage on the snakes. That's good. That is good. So I get it, there is some variance there, but, as much Commander as I play all power levels and just a whole bunch, just so many different games and play so much that, I don't feel comfortable with less than 4 board wipes. So that's me. Take that for what it's worth. Thought Vessel for opponent, sure. Doc says that's because the larger EDH channels have pushed into basically CEDH territory and lighter removal is more relevant. Yeah, and CEDH, obviously, you want all of your removal to be 1 and 2 mana, but I don't know. It's weird because they talk about the game like they're kind of playing CEDH, but then they don't say that they're playing CEDH. And some of the things they talk about, I think Game Night's games still go 9, 10, 11 turns, so. Powerful, sure, but not necessarily the setting where I'm gonna not run enough board wipes and I think they said they don't run Thran Dynamo anymore, and Thran Dynamo is an insane card. It's the 3rd best mana rock, always Thran Dynamo. And maybe it's because I like casting big dumb stuff like angels and things, and it really helps with that, but it's such a good mana rock. And if you have 9 turns in a game, play Thran Dynamo. If you only have 6 turns, maybe don't, but as soon as you get to turn 7, turn 8, Thran Dynamo is incredible. Ian says his Sunforger deck uses Settle Wreckage, Devastation Giant, and Realm Cloak Giant as wraths. Yeah, that's a great point too. So Realm Cloak Giant is a creature and a board wipe. I'm using it in Akiri right now because I felt like I wanted 1 more creature and I wanted 1 more board wipe. So, that's all a thing. Steve says he has a Tajik 1.0 board wipes are us endgame World Slayer deck. Nice. Love it. Not fun to play against, but yeah. If everyone wants to drop a bunch of value creatures, if people want to have a million snakes in play, why not? Why not? Doc says they're not running into Battlecruiser decks. Yeah, they need to run into me because I've somehow found a way to play Battlecruiser decks at higher power levels. And that's always fun because no one expects Voltron when you get to higher power games. Just what? Yeah, I play Voltron. Eric says he looks at blue-black more than anything to figure out what he needs to beat when looking at the new sets. That's actually an interesting way to think about it. Hadn't thought about that. Occasionally I do. Occasionally, when a new set of gods come out, I'll be all right, bring Return to Dust, crush Contraband back into everything. You're going to be needing those. People throw shade on Return to Dust right now, and it's still, if you want to get rid of a god, it's one of the better ways to do it. Doc says, Rogak is looking insane. So many potential infinite combos. Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, that's a combo line. That's a combo line. That's a combo line. It seems like it's going to do some stuff. I think it's going to be a very popular commander. Potentially a reason to run one of those silly black cards that gives everything minus, or Elishnorn and stuff like that. And, not let that happen. No, opponent's going to destroy our Sunforger. Is this creature? Target creature. Doesn't protect the Sunforger. Sunforger down. Makes me sad. With the double mana, it's been kind of awkward to hold up the mana for that, so it is what it is. Steve says, Sakashima deck's getting some upgrades. Now what do you partner it with? I have no idea. You're going to need to figure that one out. Partner's always interesting because it's like a puzzle. You don't know right off the bat, like, which two are the best or which two, like, are right for you. You don't always need the best deck at the table, but the one that, like, suits your play style the best, that just, you feel like you're really grooving with. And, yeah, it'll take some play testing, some experimentation. Back in the day, I don't know if they do design articles like this anymore, but they used to talk about, like, modular versus linear design. And generally, the past 10 years of Magic have been, like, really linear design. It's like, here's the card, you build around it, here's all the things that combo with it, go. Like, the deck is kind of built for you. Back around, like, Time Spiral 1, that block was very modular. It's like, here's a bunch of stuff, figure out what to do with it. And, it's definitely a more complicated thing to build. It's harder to figure out. Ooh, opponent's going to use the Aetherize right now. I mean, they kind of have to. They're down to 12. That's a bit of damage going in their way. They don't have a lot of blockers up. Plus, Goblin Bombardment's still in there, so... yeah. It's not a great place to be, especially when we've got our little angel army here. I would prefer to not run into another one of these. But yeah, anyway, partners bring in the whole, like, partners are a very modular concept. Here's a bunch of things, figure out what to do with them. And I would like to see a little bit more of that in Magic. I think they've gotten too linear and spoon-feed things just a little bit too much. Adriana stuff getting bounced. Sword of the Animus trigger, Bruce trigger. Deck list should be updated in the description below. You may need to refresh the page to look at it. If it's still not working, let me know, but I think I did it right. How many protection spells do I usually run? That's a good question. Depends deck by deck. I'd say right now, at least 2. With Sajiri Shelter, try to get to 3 because this one's a land. But you can certainly run more depending on, like, how do people perceive your deck? Like, some things that are very threatening, you might want more than that. Adriana, for example, since Adriana's kind of a go-wide deck, it's going to make sense if you can get to, like, 4 or 5 protection spells in that deck. If you get a Selfless Spirit, one that's creature-based, that's kind of cool. That stuff really helps. But, what's tricky is that, like we were talking about it, people run less board wipes now. So you're not always needing to guard against a board wipe. Now you're needing to guard against, like, Rift or a lot of spot removal. And, the cards you use for those are generally different. Which does make Teferi's Protection just, like, the best card because it protects you from everything, which is insane. But, yeah. Is the mana doubling gone? The mana doubling's gone. Sadness. Sadness. What do we have in our graveyard? We have a Chancellor of the Annex? That's kind of cool. We have an Acroma. Oh, we lost our Hazard's Monument somewhere along the way. That's sadness. Do we just... Opponent's got 2 mana up? Oh, they don't have a full bounce with that. Yeah. Do we have enough for this Acroma? Let's play this Acroma. We'll have exactly enough for Acroma. Here we go. Heuristic Study will trigger. Opponent's going to Arcane Denial our Achroma. Well, I think Pulse Mage Advocate about to do more work. Going to double vision. Second Arcane Denial. Achroma to the graveyard. But Kithron is now tapped out, so use this Pulse Mage Advocate, and this is something that I had not thought about. If someone kills or counters your creatures, now we easily get it back. Definitely not giving them Arachnogenesis. Let's go for a land. A wheel is fine, I guess, and definitely not Aetherize. Rift? Arcane Denial seems like the safest. Get this Achroma. It's back. I'm going to screenshot this so I can send it to Tomer. Tell him he was right, because initially I was like, I don't know, it seems kind of bad. And no, I think he was right. Hopefully Champ isn't going to... We'll send this one that way and this one to Champ. Champ has like cards and mana up, so I'm expecting to lose a few things here. Aurelia trigger, untap all the stuff, see who survives. Kirshmi says, well, that was a turn. It's always awesome to see this deck. I've missed seeing it on the channel. Yeah, I've tried to calm down playing this deck because I played it a bunch for a long time. And if you go back through the videos, I've really taken it easy on Aurelia this year. I just kind of like, I'll try to do it like maybe once a quarter just to, hit any major set updates and stuff like that. But Champ survives at 1, has not used any removal, so it does not appear that he's going to survive. And we will start looking toward game 2. Oh, there's double strike, something. That must have been first strike damage. Down he goes. Pulse Mage Advocate. Pretty good. It's pretty good. Wouldn't say use it everywhere, but if you have a deck like this where the creatures you're getting are highly impactful, then it doesn't look too bad. Aurelia's ability to untap it also adds a lot to the equation. Still a trade-off. If they wipe the board, now we've given them a ton of cards, and that's kind of a headache, so... Be careful, but in this instance, it was pretty good for us. So we're going to start looking toward game 2 right here. I think I'm just going to run this deck back again. I had a lot of fun doing that. So Patreon supporters, if you want to join the game, go on and do so. I'm going to run to the bathroom real quick. And I will talk to you guys in a second as this game fires up. All right, I am back. I'm going to move this microphone real quick. Sorry if it's loud. All right, back in my normal mic stand. We won the die roll. I've won the last, I don't know, 5 or 6 die rolls in games that I've played. That is how you win games of Commander. How do you guys feel about a 6-lander? 6-lander Makokoro. That's not great. I think we can do a little better than that. Into 3-land, Reforge the Soul. Also Makokoro? Yeah, that's fine, I guess. If we get in trouble, we just started tapping the Makokoro. We have another super chat. Marcus Tempest Aurelius, you are awesome. You rock. Oh, let's see. All right. Yeah, we're going to keep this one. Anyway, yeah, I think the last thing we're talking about was protection spells. Like I said, depends on the deck. Some decks are like, if your deck is critical to like your commander staying in play or some key set of pieces staying in play, which I mean is kind of a lot of decks, but if it's like the deck only does this one thing, then more protection spells. If you have like backups and redundancies and all that sort of stuff, then you can get away with less. But in the spot removal heavy world of today, like I won a game with Faith Shield earlier, and Faith Shield is incredible. It's a 25-cent uncommon out of Dark Ascension, I think. And protection from a color, 1 white mana. So good. There's a Karmic Guide. Karmic Guide is useful. Play this Path of Ancestry, and pass the turn like that. Talking about putting the dagger in Jaya Ballard? Absolutely. Although, I try to give Jaya Ballard protection from red, but if you've got like Hammer of Nazan, where it's indestructible, it'll take the damage, not die, and then you can do the thing with the dagger. So, yeah. Love it. Eric Ignacio Ferreira, I think I said that right, says, couldn't fit Sajiri Shelter into the Aurelia deck. Yeah, so with the modal dual-faced lands, those alter your deck building somewhat significantly. You really got to think about, like, can I afford this slot? Is it worth it? Does it need to be a land? How many lands should I still be running? There's a lot of little things to still kind of figure out there. I've only been using them somewhat. I haven't put them in every single deck yet. So, just keep at it. Just keep at it. Figure out which ones you really need, which ones don't do enough for a given deck. Ian says his Shroom only runs 2 board wipes. You are weak to a lot of angels attacking you. Sure, it may have a lot of spot removal, things like that, but, green decks can spit out creatures really quickly. I find that you just want board wipes for green value decks because they can put 3-4 creatures out a turn once they get to the mid turns of the game, and like spot removal doesn't solve that. So I like my board wipes. That's the style of player that I am. But anyway, brings back to our turn. We draw a Burnished Heart. Let's play. I guess play the Windswept Heath. Nothing to do on 2 mana. This deck does not have a lot at the early parts of the curve, and that is so we can do a bunch of things at the later part of the curve. Pass like that. Navis says they ordered the Extra Life Secret Lair. So excited about Teferi's Protection? Yeah, Teferi's Protection is insane. It will be awesome. Oh, right. I think I might have forgot that while talking. The snakes did do 0 damage while Gisela is in play to us, because 1 gets rounded down to 0 with Gisela. I had an incredible game with last night where I was playing my Aurelia Exemplar Big Red deck, a deck that I haven't touched in a long time, and opponent was attacking for like 40. I was at 19, and I had to play the survival game and hang out and just had a struggle there for a bit. You should go check that out. It's on my Twitter feed. I posted some screenshots from that game. I didn't do a full filming. I was just doing like some B-roll footage that may show up in the future at some point, but it was a really cool game. That was at like turn 14 or something like that. It was getting pretty late. Yes, Gisela is awesome. Curse me. She is a wonderful, wonderful creature. Basically all the things you want. She creates weird incentives. There's no incentive for people to attack you with Gisela on the board, and the incentive is to attack everyone else, which is fantastic. We draw Misfell Plains, a little bit awkward. Play the Makokoro, play the Burnished Heart. Always got to be careful with this deck. You can stumble out of the gates because the curve is high. You just want to make sure you've got lands. You can get to a Burnished Heart. You can get to a Solemn Simulacrum, that sort of stuff. Hopefully they don't shoot the Burnished Heart because they know what happens and what comes later when they don't. Ian says, Grimgrin doesn't have much in the way of wraths or targeted removal. A little bit different when your commander is removal, but I would still run some. Grimgrin can solve, like, Grimgrin's good for, like, the big thing in play if there's a Titan in play or something like that. It's less good if there is, just a million small creatures running around. Eric says the Game Knights decks are notorious for being light on removal so people can do their thing more. Yeah, I have some questions about that, honestly. You know, I think they like go too far in that direction. Like, sure, they don't need to run like a million board wipes, but they probably should run like a little bit more than they do. I don't mind a game that goes to about turn 11 is where I think I want to be on average. If everyone draws 3 board wipes, then that game's going to go probably way longer than 11 turns unless someone can like combo win somehow. But yeah, it's tricky. There's a Crucible of Worlds for opponent, but that's a Containment Priest coming in. I don't think I'm going to like this at all. Flash. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it. Don't use this Karmic Guide, is what that says. Don't use any of our reanimation. We will need to deal with that. No board wipes in hand currently. Ian says he loves Commander with beer, and game 1 starts around 1 a.m., ends around 5 a.m. Oh, to be young. Oh, to be young. I don't mind a little beer with my Commander, just that, like, I don't drink that much anymore. I've kind of eased up on that. I drank a lot in my 20s, and just don't really feel the need to do so as much anymore. But what we used to do before the COVID times, oh, God, I don't think I can say that word. Hopefully we don't get demonetized. Before the bad times, last year, Thursday nights, we would go play a bunch of Commander and then like get the shop closed at 12 at midnight. And then there's a bar right next door to it. So we'd go to the bar till like 2:30 in the morning. And that was a real good time. Opponents got their Tymna coming into play, and they're going to do some attacking. Yeah, we're not going to block. Burnished Heart, too valuable for that. This looks like Tymna Ravos Clerics. I think we've seen this deck on the channel before. We draw an Angel of Serenity, play the Misfell Plains, crack the Burnished Heart. It says creatures, right? It says permanents were in trouble. It says creatures. How much red mana do we have? We could use a little more. Let's go Plains Mountain. Pass like that. I'm doing it now just so I don't forget because I'm like talking and checking chat and doing all that stuff. I know we're open to like an extra attack, but it'll be fine. Clickbaity title much? I don't think it's that clickbaity. We're playing Aurelia Angels and we're talking about Commander Legends. The game chat will tell me info. Oh, did I forget to check the last game chat? Oh my god. Opponent's going to partner. We're going to say no. We do not have the other one in our deck. Opponent says, time to find out if Thumb is still broken on an MTGO. I guess we will find out if it's still broken. That's not great. I guess we could Chaos Warp it if it really causes problems. I don't know what the bug was, though. If it's something that helps or hurts. They kind of go either way. Eric says he enjoys the extra turn series more than game nights. The games are greasier and more realistic. Yeah, I can certainly appreciate that. I think what game nights does is really cool for the community. You know, that's like a great avenue to bring people into the game more. So like, it is really cool that they do it. But as a more enfranchised player, like, you know, I think they oversell some moments a little more than they necessarily need to, but I get it. It's in the name of entertainment, so that's cool. I haven't checked out the extra turns as much. Mostly, I only really watch their podcasts. I don't watch their gameplays as much anymore. But even then, I've just been like so busy lately that I haven't watched a ton of content. So I'm behind on my content consumption. Jesper Eiling straight up brought 4-color hate bears. That must have been fun for them. They don't seem like they would deal with like a hate bear deck well. The way that they talk about the game, it just feels like they don't run into hate bears very often. I don't know. I have to go watch the game, see how that turned out, but Spirit Dragon says board wipes are great in metas without dedicated combo decks because those don't need a board state. Yeah, that is one of the issues. And it depends on what the combo is too. A lot of combos now do require some permanents in play. So like if you play an austere command and blow up the like sack outlets are a big one, mana doublers are a big one. If you get rid of those, then it's much harder for a lot of decks to combo. Sure, there's still consultation and there's a few that require like nothing in play. But I would say the stuff that I run into, the things that I see, people still need some permanent in play to be able to execute their combo. And quite often, like a Chaos Warp at the right time can often stop that. There's things that it doesn't get. I get it. Aristocrats, once it gets going, is a real bad time. But Azami, once the thing's in play, you can't really do that much about it. Revel Arc isn't the easiest to stop, but by and large, many combos can be stopped by shooting a permanent before it really gets out of hand. Ian says he prefers Crush Contraband. I still like Return to Dust because sometimes I need to get rid of 2 enchantments or 2 artifacts, and Crush doesn't do that. I'll use Crush in 3 colors or more, but in 1 or 2 colors, I still like Return to Dust. And I know you have to do it at sorcery speed to do that, but I'm fine with it. I'm accustomed to it. It doesn't bother me at all. So that's just the life I lead. Where are we? We're on 6 mana. We could cast an Aurelia. That's a thing that we could do. That would get us a Scry, which isn't awful. Unfortunately, Karmic Guide. We maybe go Karmic Guide, Burnished Heart. That seems like a plan, right? And we'll have to shoot the Containment Priest so that we can actually get the Burnished Heart back. I think that's what we're doing. Path to Exile, you can ramp. Not exactly the place I want to use the Path to Exile. Maybe we should get there's an Omnath right there for the thing. Does this do damage if they get... It does damage, don't they? Each opponent and each planeswalker you don't control. Oh, it doesn't hit the creatures. Okay. I'm cool with that. So Containment Priest, Exile, Feast and Famine on top. Not a land, but pretty good. We'll keep it right there. Get the Burnished Heart. What do I think about Rick as a white commander? Marcus asks. Haven't played him as a commander yet. I've talked about Rick a little bit in the past. I've only seen him like twice, maybe. I haven't seen it a lot. It's a strong card, absolutely, but you do have to remember that, like, if you have 4 creatures in play, which is what I think he takes, is it 4 creatures or 4 other creatures? I forget the wording now. That's a lot, you know. The player with the board wipe gets itchy when you have 4 creatures in play. So, like, while in the early parts of the game, like right now, everyone's still got like a mostly full hand. Anyone that has a board wipe would probably wipe you if you have 4 creatures. So there's that. But it is a powerful card, has a lot of abilities on it. Things getting wild over there. It's a lot of card draw. It's a lot of card draw. Zender Split does that sometimes. We should probably shoot that thumb. Hopefully Champ brought removal, and we'll fire it in that general direction. Gonna send Zender Split our way. Yeah, calling our bluff. We could block with the Karmic Guide. I don't want opponents to know that I'm probably not going to pay for the Karmic Guide. But yeah, honestly, I need to see Rick more. I mean, you could probably build a really cool deck around it. Just haven't done that. Maybe soon. Who knows? Oh man, I got so many things to build. I'm kind of been wishy-washy on the Walking Dead stuff, but like Rick is the one it'd be worth checking out just to like see what it does. Is everyone really missing out by not being able to get one easily or cheaply? Sort of the question mark. Barely touched Zendikar Rising. Would love to build some of those commanders. Right now I'm thinking about, I saw a party deck, I think earlier today, and the new General Tazri. I kind of just want to see like what's the best party deck that you can build, like with the best wizards, clerics, and so ons, and just kind of get a feel for what that looks like. TJ says the Vadrock Clones deck got some new toys that he's excited for. That's pretty cool. New Dawn says, as a black reanimator player, play Meteor Golem a lot. Yeah, I believe it. Artifacts and enchantments, got to get rid of them. Eric says he's seen worse than Six Lands Makokoro, our opening hand. Yeah, I feel it. Landfall trigger. It's a fetch. Yep, get those going. The Scry Sphinx is busted with the temples. Yeah, that card looks cool. I actually want to build that one. It's not often that I say like I'm like, oh, let's go build this blue commander, but yeah, that one actually looks really cool. I way back in the day, I don't know, like 8-9 years ago, Innistrad times, original Innistrad, I was trying to get my friend into the game, and I built him this blue-white, essentially scry control deck. It was like Crystal Ball and a few creatures that scry, and just like, it's not that it did a lot, it was like a dirtle deck. It was because just like tap a lot of stuff and scry a lot and kind of dig through your deck and do whatever you feel like doing. So, I haven't really built something like that in Commander since then, but this will be fun. It'll be fun. Elijah says, big fan, made a version of this deck in paper and bummed that they don't get to play it since quarantine. Yeah, that does suck. You could check out Spell Table and the Play EDH Discord if you're just looking to play some webcam games of Commander with people and you have the setup to do so. That's probably your best bet right now. So I would definitely check out those two things. Someone wants to oh, can you put links in the chat? I don't think you put links in the chat. It's the Play EDH Discord. Just look around for it. Oh, that's the Nyx Bloom Ancient. Opponent has all the mana. Cool. It's turn 5. This game has gotten silly. What's that? A cool 12 mana right there? What could possibly go wrong with 12 mana? Scapeshift. Awesome. Remember that swords I used? Kinda wish I didn't. They come in tapped at least, right? Yeah, they come in tapped, but that's still many landfall triggers. A million landfall triggers. Field of the Dead. Omnath. Lotus Cobra. Awesome. Take this time to get caught up on chat. Bake Sales says, just got back from the shop to get to catch some Aurelia beatdown. I would recommend watching the first game for that. In this game, I think Aurelia is going to be taking the beatdown from this landfall thing that's happening right here. It is 4-color Omnath, which is, you know, banned everywhere. Card unfit for Magic. Does way too much. I read it one time and I'm like, why does it do so many things? And they're like, sure, someone thought that was a good idea. Just put every ability ever on it for the cost of landfall. Devin asks, so now that there's better Boros options available in the format, do you think Aurelia still holds up or she's falling to creep? It depends. So I think there's like some really competitive builds that are going to be viable. Oh, that's Wrath of God. Everything getting blued up. No, not our Burnished Heart. I mean, I guess that needed to happen, but I wanted that Burnished Heart. Yeah, there's going to be some really competitive builds that I think are viable. Maybe not like all the way up to CEDH, but we'll find out. We'll find out. Probably not too far off either. Aurelia is not great for that. Aurelia is not great for CEDH. It's still good for high power. The thing that I like about Aurelia is that the way that I have it built right now, it transitions from the early game to the late game really well. So you kind of use your small creatures early and your swords early, and then you use Aurelia later. And it still gives you this really big late game punch that like something like Akiri Bruce never quite had. Akiri Bruce has a really good early game, but as the board starts to get clogged, if you run out of removal, then it struggles a bit more. and Aurelia is just like better in that setting. So, you know, I think it might be a little bit apples to oranges, depends on what you want out of your deck. But, you know, I think there's going to be some really, really high power builds with the new commanders, because they're just so cheap and they cheat costs. And when you look at things that are good in the game, cheap and cheating costs are things that are like generally broken. So, you know, that's kind of my expectation. Do we just cast like a blank Aurelia here? Yeah, seems fine. Seems fine. Aurelia with nothing going on. Our angels are at 7. We don't have 7 mana. It's disappointing. We can scry once again. That's kind of cool. See if we can actually get the land this time. It's the land. All right. Leave the land on top. Give Champ a little poke. What does he have? He still has his Field of the Dead. Yeah, we'll give him another. Should we give him 2 pokes? 2 pokes. 2 pokes for Champ. The red-green partner is pretty solid to widen the clone pool. We're talking Tana or someone else? Landfall, most busted mechanic in EDH. Yeah, and the worst part is that it's like the green decks that always get the most out of it. It's like, why can't they print another really good white Landfall card? That's what I want. Ameria Shepherd is one of my favorite cards, and, you know, it's like the only good one. Does Red even have... Well, Red has Morag now. Before Morag, Red had, like, nothing good at Landfall that I can think of? I don't know. When do I think they'll finish the sword cycle? Yeah, that's a great question. So, based on what I saw last year, I thought it might have been kind of soon, but the fact that there aren't any in Commander Legends tells me that, you know, I think they're trying to milk that equity, because, you know, they know if they put the how many left do we have? 3, I think there's 3 left. They know that that's going to generate a lot of hype. So when they want a set that they want to be really hyped, you'll probably get another sword or 2. The question is how long they want to let that go on for. You know, how long they want to, like, kind of hang on to that value. Remains to be seen. Champ about to take a punch right here. There's an Okan Eye of Chaos that's now up to 24 power. Oh, that's actually going to be lethal, because that is all commander damage. We now have an Okan Eye of Chaos that we'll need to deal with, and that'll be a picnic. Probably need to get rid of this thumb. Haven't found that board wipe yet. We have a land on top. Angelic Arbiter is a reasonable play. They can't attack with it, or they'll have to bounce it. Well, no, yeah. It's an okay play. Sorry, champ. Tuween says maybe in Modern Horizons 2 with the swords. I don't know what the roadmap even looks like. Is that on the schedule, or is that just like a theoretical? They'll probably do one at some point. I would imagine that too, because the swords were used in Modern. I don't know if they still are, but they probably wait for a Modern legal set to put the swords in, would be my guess. Rot Lung Reanimator. Sure, I'm not going to like that. When it or another cleric dies, make a 2/2 zombie. Eric says Modern Horizons 2 is next summer. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably see some swords there. I don't know if they'll finish it. 3 swords is a lot. That feels like a lot for a set, but you never know. You never know. Feast and Famine and Fire and Ice are still both used in Stoneforge and Modern. Okay. Yeah, I haven't been following Modern at all, so I'm not sure what's still in. I know that those decks were viable for a while, but, you know, things change. generally somewhat quickly in Modern, and I know things have gotten like really powerful in Modern, so. The new 9-mana green spell is busted. I gotta look it up, honestly. Reshape the Earth. Search your library for 10 land cards, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle your library. Oh, that's any land? Yeah. Probably not mono green necessarily, but any sort of scape shift, Volakut nonsense, landfall decks, Field of the Dead, that sort of stuff. Yeah, pretty good with all of that. 9's a lot of mana. 9 is like, that's still a powerful effect. If you want to call that being fairly costed, I'd probably call that about as close to fairly costed as it's going to get. You know, in a lands deck, that will probably win the game. So we played a land. We've got this Feast and Famine. They've got a flying blocker that we cannot get through. They've got a giant thing right there. We go in Voltron mode? Probably. Is this target? Yeah, it does say target, so with boots, we can't get past it. Kind of sucks. Play the Feast and Famine. Hope this doesn't get crushed by removal. Opponents have open mana. Don't love it. Send over Aurelia over to Jank, since Jank is in the one-hit mode. Fumble, you say. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Gain control of all auras and equipment attached to it. Then it's... Oh, that's rough. That's dirty. We all just learned about a card called Fumble. A card that I had never heard of until this exact moment. And now we will lose the game because of it. Yeah, this is not great. This is not great. So this will happen periodically with this deck. We actually losing the Burnished Heart that second time is kind of what got us. This deck just needs a lot of lands to operate, and we didn't get all the lands that we needed, so we are probably going to get punched by this Okon. Last night, Champ was talking about, oh, what did I get hit with? I got hit with that that new dumb blue card that steals equipments or artifacts or something like that, and like permanently. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. Yeah, we're in a bad spot now. We are in a bad spot. See how many coin flips they win. Who's my next build? I have no idea. I've got a couple things I want to do. One should be very funny. We'll see. I've still got October decks that I need to finish. It's now like what, the first week of November. It's almost done. I still got a few October things to finish up. Got a few GoFundMes I need to finish up still. Thieving Skydiver. That's the card. Yeah, that card can go to hell. Permanent Steel seems a little busted. Champ was asking if I'm going to start running Brand for all this nonsense that's starting to happen. I'm like, well, probably going to have to, because, yeah. Opponent going to combat, doing the thing. Hopefully we don't get crushed. Up to a coin flip, literally. Ah, it's only a 10/10. How about that? A while back, Kevin asked, "What are my thoughts on the new Hellkite Courser and possibly putting it into Aurelia?" I don't know that Aurelia needs it necessarily. Aurelia does a pretty good job of like getting herself into play. She's got haste, all that stuff. But someone pointed out the Dragon, on the other hand, seems really good in that deck. I'm gonna need to test it. Like, I don't know exactly where that card wants to go. Like at 6, it's a little pricey. You have to consider the fact that like it runs up your commander cost, your commander tax a little bit, so that's not amazing. But what are we discarding? That's got boots on it still. Horror of Silence is removal. I don't know that we're gonna have like time for this Reforged Soul. Yeah, I'm going Reforged Soul. That new wheel, that may replace this Reforged Soul, because at 3 mana, I might have wheeled somewhere earlier in the game. But yeah, so the question is, like, is your commander really good for, like, or is it really impactful having it in turn for one play and either, like, tapping at one time or attacking with it one time? I think those are the type of decks that are going to want the Hellkite. And Dragon just happens to be one of those commanders. If there's like combos with your commander, it might make sense. I think for what Aurelia does, and maybe because it's a creature and like you get your thing for a turn, and once your commander tax gets up there kind of high, that can be an issue, especially if your commander is 6 mana already. I don't know. We'll play around with it. We'll see what happens. Definitely worth testing. There's a Teshar for opponent. Those are pretty good. Opponent going on the attack. Bunch of stuff our way. Yeah, we're going to feel that. We are going to feel that. Someone mentioned Progenitus. Yeah, Progenitus. Another one that nice to skip the casting cost in that one. What do I think of Yeska's Will? Yeska's Will looks really cool. That's probably going to end up in a lot of decks. I actually really like that card. And, Red got so many cool cards this set. Order of White Clay can return Kifkin. Yeah, that's cool. And the problem we have now is, like, we don't really have a board state. Would love to see a board wipe off the top. We're at 13, which means a bunch of zombies out of this thing are still an issue for us. So, like, a board wipe doesn't just do it. Which probably puts me on the Angelic Arbiter, honestly. Hopefully we don't get hit with more removal. There's a Stoneforge Mystic. That probably doesn't do what we need it to do right here. Angelic Arbiter it is. Just keep dropping angels until we either die or, something good happens. We'll get to Scry. What? Why didn't, did we just get countered? What just happened? Pulse Mage Advocate is on top. Yeah, we'll leave it there. It's actually, like, cost efficient. Could be useful, but it also, like, does require that we survive, and I don't know that it's going to do that. Yeah, there was an Arcane Denial on the Angelic Arbiter that I missed while I was checking chat and doing other stuff. Draw with the Arcane Denial. Yeah, so I've been looking at, like, Faithless Looting more, because Faithless Looting for hands like this is good, where, you know, you kind of cycle past a few things and then do that whole thing. Maybe I rushed the Karmic Guide. That might have been part of it, too. I was trying to get more lands out of the Burnished Heart. Definitely rushed the swords, so I don't know. Probably just didn't play as good as I needed to. This deck does require that, like, you be comfortable with the fact that, like, you will be on one spell a turn for a really long time. And you need to do a lot of things to break out of that. If you guys hear a cat in the background, it's because she has not adjusted to daylight savings. No Platinum Angel in this deck. Platinum Angel is one of those cards that, like, it soaks up so much focus that, you know, the second you play it, people just, like, immediately shoot it. And it makes it, like, not, I don't know, it's weird because it's, like, not that valuable in that sense. It's like, every once in a while you get to live that dream of, like, being at negative life, but it doesn't have a lot of impact otherwise. So, and it just becomes this, like, big removal target. So I don't run it anymore, and I do have, like, a really cool altar of one in paper, which makes me sad that, like, I wish I could run. But 7 CMC is super crowded in this deck. Should have removed Krark's Thumb? Yeah, probably, because now we're about to die. Yeah, I don't know. We kind of got just, like, caught up. You know what, that Karmic Guide turn? That was the turn where we needed to be probably more impactful than that. Trying to play the sit back and ramp game, which just opponent's deck's a little bit too fast for that in this game. So, you know, that will happen sometimes. I do think the combination I'm most excited about right now of partners is, I think, going to be Arden and either Akiri or Rograk. Those are the ones I'm looking at. I think they're going to be really cool, really powerful. Probably try to push that up into the CEDH sphere if I can. Jay Garrett's sent a super chat. Jay, you are awesome. And he says, hey, PJ, you are awesome. Actually, I should do it in this voice. Hey, PJ. Oh, my God, I can't talk anymore. I've been talking for too long. PJ, you are awesome. Thanks, Jay. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it's a little bit lethal. It's got 1280 power. Just a little bit lethal. Kids in their counter spells. Stopping our Angelic Arbiter. Pretty annoying. It's fine. I've been beating up on my Patreons quite a bit lately, so I definitely deserve one in there. Definitely deserve one. Jacob says he's been seeing a lot of Arden and Rograk lists on Tapped Out. I haven't really checked. I'm sure many people are excited to build around it. Live the Dream with a bunch of Bloodforged Battle Axes? Yeah, that's going to be a legit card with Arden. I should go buy some of those before they go to $1 million. Jank wins. Pauper goes down to a massively low life total. And that's going to be the game. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. I've been streaming for a little while, and I am starting to lose my voice. So thank you all for joining. If you like what I do, be sure to comment, like, subscribe. You can check me out on Twitter as well, twitter.com/commanderreplay. But I will be back next Friday with more streaming. And I don't know. Let's see. The release date for Commander Legends is the 19th. So that's still a few weeks away. So it'll be a little bit before we actually get to Commander Legends stuff. But Gonna be looking at that. Got some Commander Legends videos on the way. Probably gonna do some more set review things. Probably start delving into some deck lists and things like that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a good night, and we'll see you next week.